What's up, legends? I've finally hit max level with every single SMG in Helldivers 2, and today we're going to be going over all of the SMGs and we'll be talking about which one deals the most damage, which is the best against Illuminate, which is the best against Terminids, Automatons, which benefits the most from attachments, and of course just giving my overall opinion on which SMG I think is the best in the game right now. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into it by going down the list and starting off with the MP98 Knight. The Knight is an unbelievably powerful weapon. Out of all of the SMGs, the Knight has the fastest rate of fire, the fastest reload, the most amount of ammo, and the highest non-durable DPS as well. Putting this simply, this weapon is going to be the greatest of all of the SMGs for clearing hordes of light armored enemies. Its durable damage pretty much matches most of the SMGs in the game, but it does pack the second highest amount of durable DPS out of the 5 options. In other words, even against highly durable enemies, this weapon will shred right through all enemies with light armor without any prejudice. It's pretty much a mini stalwart, that's kind of how I see it, and that it can be wielded with only one hand. Now, the Knight's weakest point was its high recoil due to its fast fire rate nature. But with the new addition of the attachments, we're able to cut down that recoil to a bare minimum. With the right attachments, we can make the Knight have a laser beam accuracy that will make hitting even the hardest of targets quite easy. For the Knight, I'm going to recommend you to bring the vertical foregrip, the compensator, and the extended magazine. This will push the Knight to having 70 shots per magazine while still reloading extremely quickly and having a laser beam accuracy, especially with those burst fires. Usually, bringing a muzzle brake is a good idea to cut down on horizontal recoil, but since the Knight has such an intense vertical recoil, I prefer going all in on controlling that, so that the bursts don't kick up as harshly as they would previous to having these attachments. And speaking of high recoil, let's talk about the Reprimand. This weapon shared the same issue as the Knight. It previously had too strong of a recoil and it was just not worthwhile bringing on when trying to be accurate. The Reprimand is the only SMG in the game that has medium armor penetration, which will increase this weapon's potential by a drastic amount. It's now able to kill tons of enemies that the other SMGs can't, such as the Rocket Striders if you shoot at their hips, Bile Spewers, Overseers by headshotting, Devastators without having to aim at their weak spots, Hive Guards, and others. The Reprimand doesn't quite beat the Knight in raw, non-durable damage per second, but it actually has the highest durable DPS out of all of the SMGs. Matter of fact, it has 60% more durable DPS than the Knight, which means it is by far the strongest SMG in the game when using it against durable enemies. The Reprimand, though, does not come without flaws. It cannot be wielded with only one hand, meaning you can't really use shields with it, and running and shooting isn't going to be viable. And it also has a very poor ammo economy. This is a big issue with this weapon. The weapon only has 25 shots per magazine, which, to put that into perspective, the second smallest magazine out of all of the other SMGs has 45 shots, which is still nearly double that of the Reprimand. It's such a massive difference. On top of that, the Reprimand also has the longest reload out of all of the SMGs in the game, which is truly a shame. It's more of an assault rifle than an SMG, really. It did previously suffer from a very strong recoil as well, but thankfully with the new attachments, we can patch that up quite nicely. I recommend bringing the vertical foregrip for the Reprimand and pairing it up with either the muzzle brake if you're into full autoing, or the compensator if you're more of a burst fire type of player. So with that said, let's move on to the next SMG on this list, and let's take a look at the SMG-37 Defender. The Defender is your classic case of jack of all trades, master of none. This weapon does not shine in any particular area and rather rides the middle of the pack in nearly every single aspect. Out of the 5 SMGs, it places 3rd in fire rate, it places 3rd in magazine size, it places 3rd in reload speed, it even has the 2nd lowest DPS and the 2nd lowest durable DPS as well. It truly shines at just being mind-blowingly average. It also has average ergonomics, average recoil, sway, spread. Okay, yeah, you get the point. Previous to this update, the Defender was a solid choice to use with shields when going up against the Automatons, because at least the recoil didn't kick as hard as the Knight did. But now that's long gone, so yeah. This update has pushed the Defender to the bottom of the pack in my opinion. It simply has nothing to offer that the other SMGs don't. For the attachments though, I recommend bringing the vertical foregrip and pairing it up with the muzzle brake. This will kind of try to contain its rather erratic recoil, but it's still not going to be a great choice to spray with unless you're spraying at easy to hit targets. Also, make sure to bring the drum magazine, as this will increase your ammo count by 30, which is nearly double, so at least ammo economy on this is gonna be kind of decent. Next and final on this list is the SMG-72 Pummeler, a weapon that I personally feel is very close to being a beast, but it's not quite there. The reason why I think this weapon is close to being a beast is due to its very obvious selling point, which is the incredibly powerful staggering power it packs. Actually, I'll correct myself, it's not even a stagger, it's a flat out stun. The stun is very powerful. Did you know you can actually stun chargers infinitely as long as you keep firing? Yeah, I think you can kind of see why I think this weapon could be a beast. With the addition of the Predator strain, which has tons of stalkers and hunters constantly rushing you down, staggers have quickly rose to the top of the meta against this strain in particular. And no weapons in the game do it better than the Pummeler does. The problem with this though is that there are other weapons out there that both stagger quite efficiently, but also have a very powerful killing potential as well, which is where our Pummeler here is going to have a hard time. Out of all of the automatic weapons in the game, not just the SMGs, the Pummeler has the second lowest DPS in the entire game, only outperforming the Liberator Concussive. But even worse, it has the lowest durable damage per second out of all of the automatic weapons in the game. So yeah, it's kind of hard to make its stunning potential shine when you've got other weapons that offer similar staggering values but outdamage it by a staggering amount. So yeah, stunning aside, the Pummeler has the lowest rate of fire and the lowest damage, both durable and non-durable, out of all of the SMGs. The stunning can be quite useful against very specific mission types. Like I said, the Predator strain is a fantastic example, but it can actually be an issue when using it against the Automatons, for example, as the stagger will cause the Automatons to constantly flinch, therefore making hitting weak spots a much harder deal. For the Pummeler, I'd recommend removing the underbarrel for ergonomics and putting on the muzzle brake and the drum magazine to allow you to more consistently stagger anything in your sight. So all in all, which SMG out of these is going to be the best out of the bunch to bring alongside with you in your dives? For that, we of course need to separate this answer faction by faction, as all of these factions play dramatically different and need to be treated as so. First, for the Terminids, I quickly must mention you should carry with you the Urban Legends Siege Ready Armor set. That's going to allow you to pump up your ammo economy to its fullest, allowing you to stay in the fight for longer. For the Terminids, I think the Knight is a very clear winner here, with one exception. The Knight will be an absolute king of dominating hordes of Terminids and dominating the newest and hardest edition, the Predator strain. Like I said, the Knight is pretty much a pocket stalwart. It will absolute shred through any light armor enemies before they get anywhere near you, including the very difficult Predator stalkers. Yeah, it's gonna deal with them long before they get to you and become a problem. I cannot recommend this SMG enough on the Terminid side. I think it currently is my favorite light armor penetration weapon in the entire game. Now, as for the exception I mentioned previously, the Reprimand is going to be a better choice when you're walking into a Bile Spewer seed, but only this seed specifically, as the Bile Spewers have an armor value of 3 and the Reprimand is the only one on this list that can effectively take them down. If you're unsure if you're going into a Bile Spewer seed or not, you can always just carry grenades or a grenade pistol or a support weapon that can deal with them, and as long as you do, you can always just bring your Knight with you in peace. Now, moving on to the Automatons, again for armor recommendation, I will now recommend the Fortified Armor set. This will keep you alive the longest and will give you that extra recoil for landing headshots onto them. But for the best SMG, I will say the choice can vary. I think it's a toss-up between the Reprimand and the Knight, depending on your playstyle. If you like to play it safe, I think the Knight is the better choice. You put on the Knight, bring a ballistic shield, bring a heavy fortified armor set, set and you now have become an absolute tank. This is more of a cautious approach and rather playing it safe, as you're going to be pretty slow and you've got to take your time with landing headshots and landing accurate shots onto Rocket Strider's explosives as well. If you prefer playing a little bit more aggressively, then you can put on the Reprimand. You're not going to be able to bring a shield, so I'd recommend a medium fortified armor set and use your mobility to your advantage. The increased armor penetration though will make your life a lot easier when dealing with Rocket Striders, and will be much more forgiving with your aim as well, since you don't necessarily need to hit weak spots on Devastators. I mean, you should, but you don't have to. So playing it safe, bring the Knight. Playing it aggressively, bring the Reprimand. Lastly, onto the Illuminate squids. I'll recommend the engineering kit here for armor set, once again to assist us in recoil, but also allowing us to bring more grenades to either deal with Voltlesses with gas grenades or dealing with warp ships with thermites. For me, once again, the clear winner is the Knight. Now, for this faction though, it's not even a competition. I don't think the Reprimand is ever going to be worth it over the Knight, as the Knight can do basically everything the Reprimand can do on the Illuminate side, but much better, except for maybe destroying Stingrays. It's also got a better ammo efficiency, it kills Overseers faster, it gets rid of shields on Harvesters and ships much faster as well, and it basically just shreds everything you shoot at. So overall, I say the clear winner out of the SMGs is going to be the Knight, with the Reprimand trailing behind it at second place. For third place, I'd put the Pummeler, as at least it kind of offers something new, and lastly the Defender, that has absolutely nothing to offer, and pretty much every other ballistic weapon in the game is going to be better than this one. So let me know what your thoughts are on this video and on these weapons, and I'll be checking those comments out. For now, I'll catch you legends on the next one. Peace.